Hello everyone and welcome to Rattling the Rollcage. I am your host, Randy Pettitt, racing's greatest showman. A little sad today, Bowman Gray Stadium racing. It's over. It's been over for a little over a week, but I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about an amazing night packed full of champions and special awards at the Madhouse on Saturday night, August 21st, under a full moon. Well, amazingly, with all that backdrop, all four division point leaders managed to stay on top when the dust settled. And we want to start our recap video by saying congratulations to Tim Brown being the first to 11, the Tiger Tommy Neal on Sportsman Championship number 2, a third street stock title for our friend Billy Gregg, and the very first championship at the Madhouse for Brandon Brendle in the 4-cylinder stadium stock. We'll talk about more of those champions in a moment. And can you believe it? Can you believe it? After years of trying, Jonathan Brown finally led qualifying trials and got the very first pole of his career, and boy did he make it count. More on that in just a moment. And yes, Brandon Ward is now internet famous, as Burt Myers put it, after their skirmish in the Farm Credit Carolina 150 season finale. You know, folks, I've watched a lot of these season finales, and there's usually that one incident that leaves everyone talking, and this is the one. Let's flash back to lap 107 of the 150, and Burt Myers got into the back of Brandon Ward's machine in a battle for third place. Ward's car went around in a big cloud of dust off of turn 4, and a very ticked-off Brandon Ward chased down Burt Myers under a caution flag and retaliated, spinning him to the delight of Tim Brown fans everywhere. And then Brandon Ward just disappeared. He drove his car to the pit area and parked it for the night. Well, by my eyesight, Burt Myers appeared to have maybe a little damage to the left rear of the car, but it was minimal. And on a lap 135 restart, Tim Brown, who had been riding around all night, as Tim Brown is prone to do in these championship battles, finally made his move. And he went to the outside of Burt Myers and passed him for 5th place in the Farm Credit Carolina 150. And that was it. That was how the great chase to see who will be the first to 11 ended up. It was Tim Brown. And I was there to watch a teary-eyed Tim Brown who confessed the celebration of championship number 11 was diminished quite a bit by the loss of both his father Harold Brown and grandfather Eb Clifton in the last couple of years. Those two men very instrumental to launching Tim Brown's racing career. While parked in the center of the football field, Brown immediately FaceTimed his wife and kids, and they were at home, and the first thing he said was, "God, I wish they were here. I wish they were here," in a rare show of emotion for the 11-time champion, the Rocket. Well, if you look at it from his point of view, it was indeed an emotional comeback championship for Tim Brown. Now, counting the pandemic year of 2020 when there was no racing, Tim Brown had a drought of 5 long years while Burt Myers enjoyed an extended reign as the modified champion of the Madhouse. Well, as you can imagine, Burt Myers was royally frustrated at the end of the night. He entered the race with a great shot at tying Pee Wee Jones's mark of 5 straight modified championships at the famed quarter mile. If you recall, he was only 1 position on the racetrack behind leader Tim Brown. But it seems his date with history ended with the brouhaha with Brandon Ward. And Burt Myers finished 6th in the 150 and watched title number 11 slip through his hands by a meager 8 points, or just 2 positions on the racetrack on the final double point night of the season. "You know, I don't mind getting beat," said Burt Myers, "but to be that close and to lose it like that, it stings." Looking at it from Brandon Ward's perspective, he had won the season finale in both 2017 and 2019, and he obviously thought that Myers had dumped him and felt the move cost him a shot at the 150. And his retaliation essentially dropped him from 4th to 8th in the final point standings. Got to give a shout out to Jason Myers, who quietly, if you can do such a thing, finished 3rd in the Brad's Golf Cars Modified Series standings, and he won 200 lap races, 1 more race than Big Brother in 2021. Well, as we mentioned, Jonathan Brown won the season finale, and it was the third time of his career that he won the 150, and that moved him from 6th to 4th in the final standings. And now, yours truly cannot rag Jonathan Brown about not being a pole winner anymore. You did it, John Boy. You did it. And boy, did he do it. He pulled out the fastest lap of the year and also bagged a $1,000 bonus for doing so. Well, from one Southside boy to another, well done, sir, on winning that first pole, and now I'll bug you about the championship next year. Well, speaking of Southside boys, how about that John Holloman IV, the Fresh Prince of Southside himself? Well, just like the fella who used to drive the number 69 car, it seems that the fans either love the guy or they just can't stand him. Well, whether you like him or not, the young man put together an incredible rookie modified season, winning 3 races and leading a ton of laps. And Mr. Holloman just missed the pole for the 150 and actually led some of it before a tussle with the showstopper took him out of contention. Superman came up just 1 victory short of tying Glenwood's record of 4 rookie modified wins from the 1953 season. Also, a quick shout out to late model racer Clint King of Denton. He qualified an impressive 12th in the number 88 car for Tim Brown. And our friend 2000 Cup Series champion and 2020 NASCAR Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte. He qualified a respectable 11th in the 26 car field. Bobby Labonte was one of many who was there for the Saturday morning practice on August the 21st, and he was juggling getting in some laps and actually riding in a bicycle race he had helped organize to raise money for juvenile diabetes through the Bobby Labonte Foundation. There were a ton of cyclists at the Madhouse. Had a chance to catch up with Bobby Labonte briefly on Saturday morning, and folks, I can tell you he seems to be having a great time driving that modified car and giving back, if you will, to the grassroots of our sport. It was also really cool to see Labonte up on the wheel during Ray Evernham's made-for-TV SRX series earlier this summer. I had an opportunity to meet Bobby Labonte long before he became a star, and folks, despite all the success and accolades he's had, he still remains a humble, great guy that simply loves our sport. And I hope you'll go out and cheer Bobby Labonte as he continues to run in the Smart Modified Tour. All right, fans, let's shift gears now to the McDowell Heating and Air Sportsman Series. And if you weren't there at the Madhouse, I'm going to set the championship scene for you. The Tiger, Tommy Neal, Walkertown, North Carolina, entered the season finale, which was a 40-lap race, with the cone in play, and he had a 12-point lead over challenger Zach Orr and an 18-point lead over third place, right there in the thick of things, the young lady Amber Lynn. On a double point night where each position dropped 4 points, that meant old Tiger Tommy had very little margin to work with as the 40-lap race began. Well, Zach Orr finished his season strong, boldly passing Michael Adams for the lead and winning the 40-lap finale. It was his second victory of 2021, and that fact proved to be pivotal because Tiger Tommy Neal finished 4th in the race, losing 3 spots to Zach Orr in that 40-lapper. Now, my Parkland High School math told me right there on the spot, in front of 15,000 plus people, that these two men had ended up tied in the points. And they did at 522 each. But the first tiebreaker is how many victories. And the Tiger Tommy Neal won the tiebreaker 3-2 over Zach Orr. Well, Amber Lynn, she had the crowd just eating out of her hand as she charged through the field after an early collision with Zach Clifton. Miss Amber finished 2nd in the 40-lapper and wound up staying 3rd in the points, and she was only 10 points away from being the first female sportsman champion in the long history of the Madhouse. She would not, however, have been the first lady champion of the Madhouse that so many news outlets and so-called experts were saying on various internet and YouTube shows out there. Oh no, that was incorrect. You see, Glenda Merritt won the 1982 championship of what was then called the Blunderbuss Division. And folks, this little old lady had to manhandle These great big land yachts that raced in that division, folks, they were Chrysler Imperials, Cadillacs, Lincolns. These cars were huge. Now, I wish we were at a place in racing where it was really not such a big deal that a woman is driving and driving well. Well, anyways, let's credit Amber Lynn with a really good year, and she seems to relish her role as an ambassador, if you will, for the hundreds, maybe even thousands of women of all ages who secretly long to be a race car driver at Bowman Gray Stadium. And by the way, I won't be the least bit surprised if or when Amber Lynn or Taylor Robbins, either one wins a championship at the Madhouse. Both of these young women are very talented behind the wheel, and they've got good, solid teams behind them. We just got to get a little more fire in the belly to young Miss Taylor Robbins. Isn't she a sweetheart? Well, speaking of the law offices of John Barrow's Street Stock Series, let's talk about it now. Let me jog your memory for a moment. Who was the only 2019 champion of the Madhouse to repeat in 2021? Time's up. It was Billy Gregg. And Gregg romped to his third victory of the season, capturing not only the championship, but also the Top Gun Award for the most victories and a bonus for leading the most laps. We just wanted to win the 50-lapper, Gregg mused. But we won the first two races of the year, and it was on after that. Well, as you can see, taking a look at the points, there were some pretty solid seasons there for Christian Joyce, Jeremy Warren, Taylor Robbins, and some other folks there too in the law offices of John Barrow's Street Stock Series. And shout out to my buddy John Barrow. It was good to see him at the season finale. And John had been out there in Utah. If you don't know his story, he goes out there and tries to set these land speed records on the salt flats in Utah. It's really, really cool. Ask him about it the next time you talk to him. All right, that leads us to the Q1041 Stadium Stock Series for the four-cylinder racing machines. And Winston-Salem's Brandon Brendle held a whopping 2-point lead over Grayson Keaton entering the 15-lap season finale. Now, by the way, folks, you know I don't run the racetrack, but I agree with a lot of the fans who wish that the street stock and stadium stock divisions maybe had just a few more laps to settle their championships. Well, anyways, Brandon Brendle had 15 laps to get it done. And folks, this young man was trying to go faster since the very first day he learned how to sit up in a crib. Nicknamed Scooter because of how he would scoot across the floor as a baby, well, Brandon Brendle scooted off with his finest season yet at the Madhouse. Brandon Brendle won the season finale. It was his fourth victory of 2021, and that secured him the Top Gun Award and his very first Bowman Gray Championship. Now, if you recall, he got in a wreck in the season opener and finished 11th. But after that, there was a change in Brandon Brendle, and he never finished worse than 4th in 8 other starts. Well, call goes to Grayson Keaton, who normally comes up clutch in the big races, but it was the clutch, his clutch, that got him in this one. With the clutch trouble, Grayson Keaton's car simply would not go on the restarts, and he slid to 3rd in that season finale behind, show me the money, Chuck Wall. And well, look who finished 4th in the race and 5th in the division's final standings, Wyatt Sapp. This young man seemed to come out of nowhere, and he wound up beating John Holloman IV for the highest finishing rookie in his division at the Madhouse in 2021. Sapp finished 5th in the Q1041 Stadium Stock points. Holloman wound up 9th in the modifieds, which, by the way, is pretty stout for a rookie. Congratulations to Wyatt Sapp as he earned the $500 prize from Colby's Home Repairs for the Bowman Gray Stadium Rookie of the Year for 2021. And let's give a big shout out to our friend Robert Sturmiska for a very fine season. He won 2 races and finished 3rd in the points. Well, taking a look at things, Grayson Keaton and Robert Sturmiska were the only repeat winners in the Q1041 Stadium Stock Division other than the Top Gun and champion, Brandon Brendle. Well, I guess that's it. I'm not going to get emotional or depressed or anything on you, but I will miss being at the Madhouse. I'm going to especially miss the fans. I think I've enjoyed interacting with the fans this year maybe more than any other in my career at the Madhouse. It may be because we had such a short season. Maybe it's because we didn't have any racing in 2020. But whatever the case, I want to say thank you to each and every person who took the time to say hello, those that came up and took a picture, even if you just waved at me from the stands, and especially to everybody that's been watching these videos on Rattling the Rollcage. It means a lot, and I really, really appreciate it. You know, as we continue to lose some really great stars of Bowman Gray Racing, sponsors and fans, I recognize I won't be able to be the voice of Bowman Gray Stadium Racing forever. But I promise you, every time I step on that racetrack, you're going to get my very best effort. Well, while we're getting a little misty-eyed here and reminiscing, I would be remiss if I did not mention the passing of all-time great Brent Elliott, who won a lot of races at Bowman Gray Stadium and raced a lot of other places in the open-wheel NASCAR modifieds. And Brent actually had a little brief foray into cup racing when he was a young man. We're going to miss Brent Elliott, Denton's finest, as we will a lot of other folks that we lost here during 2021. How about a big shout out to all the fans at Ace Speedway, my Friday night track just north of Burlington, North Carolina. And folks, these great Ace fans waited through a long, long rain delay, and some of them got soaked. They got wet. It was Friday night, August 20th, and for those that stuck around, they saw some really good racing, great late model race, and I want to congratulate my friend Randy Butner and his right-hand man at Ace Speedway, Mr. Bill Wilder, on a much, much needed win in that Ace Modified division on Friday night, August the 20th. I'd like to encourage you to check out the Ace Speedway Facebook page, where our good friend Jason Turner, one of the promoters of Ace Speedway, he does a really nice job recapping all the action at Ace Speedway. And if you haven't checked that out, like the Ace Speedway Facebook page, where you can keep up on all the recap videos and other cool stuff cooked up by Jason Turner on Facebook. Well, folks, if you've already been on that page, you probably noticed, due to a tire shortage and a lot of other crap going on in the world, Ace Speedway has decided they will not race during the month of September here in 2021. Well, I want to let you know I plan to be there for October 23rd for the Rodney Cook Classic, which is going to feature some stellar fields in both late model, and the Smart Modified Tour makes its return to Ace Speedway on Saturday, October the 23rd. Again, thank you to all the great fans who have liked this channel and subscribed to it. Folks, to be honest, we need to hit 1,000 subscribers by the month of December. This helps us reward all the sponsors for making these shows possible. And speaking of sponsors, I want to give a shout out one final time to strutmasters.com, who has graciously lent us the use of their museum. You see some of the paintings on the wall behind me. This place is full of cool cars and race cars as well. Our show filmed on location tonight from strutmasters.com in Roxborough, North Carolina. And Rattling the Rollcage is brought to you by Solid Rock Carriers. And thank you to Kirk Ipock for being such a good friend, not only to this channel, but our entire sport here at the grassroots level. Also, want to give a shout out to my friend Terry King at Rooster's Country Store in Kernersville. Now, I want you to look for Rooster's Country Store and their cool metal art and lots of other neat stuff at the Charlotte Auto Fair. That'll be coming up in September. And I'll be there, so if you're wandering around looking at all those cool cars, look for me with the metal art from Rooster's Country Store at the Charlotte Auto Fair. And Rooster's Country Store will be at the annual Northwest North Carolina Fair. That's in October from the 1st through the 10th in Winston-Salem. Now, Rooster's is normally right in front of the grandstands. That's where they have the demolition derby and the figure 8 races and the music concerts and whatnot. And folks, I plan to be there many of the days of the fair. I hope you'll look for me and come by and say hello and check out all the cool stuff from Rooster's Country Store. If you miss us at these great events, you can check us out on Highway 66. We're about a mile south of Bishop McGinnis High School, right off of Interstate 40 on Highway 66. We certainly want to thank some of our other great show sponsors who have been with us pretty much all season. And that includes our friends at VitaCshot.com. You can find it on Amazon and other great retailers. H&A Directional Boring, that is my friend Gary Causey out of Snow Camp. Also, big shout out to my clothier. Man, what a cool jacket we have on tonight from the runway. Men's clothiers on the lower level of Haynes Mall near the food court. And man, they've got some really cool stuff in there I'm itching to get my fingers on for next year. And we got to say a big thank you to Strutmasters founder Chip Lofton, who helped us get our show off the ground and continues to support our great channel. And I certainly would not be where I am today on this YouTube journey without the encouragement of my good friend, the Monday Morning Racer. And I'll be seeing him again on the NHRA trail coming soon. And there's going to be some future episodes of Rattling the Rollcage featuring legends of the Madhouse. In future episodes, we'll have top stars like Philip Smith, Ralph Brinkley, and more. Plus, it's our intention to get all the 2021 champions of the Madhouse on the program at some point in the future. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to our channel for the latest.